So welcome everybody who's here and who's seeing this later. This is a live stream presentation of how to befriend your fear and nourish your immune system. And I'm going to be doing this every Saturday at 6 o'clock Pacific time for, well, the indefinite future. We'll see when we might want to change that. If you want to participate anonymously, you can edit your name on your screen name, and otherwise your name is going to show up in the video. And you can also show your, have your video on if you want, and there'll be time for questions and answers later. Either you can tell me them vocally, or you can type them in the chat box. So welcome. We're going to do just 3 practices today. I want to keep this really simple and give you something to try and to come meet your fear, come meet your fear where it is. A lot of us are feeling a lot of fear right now because of the virus, the pandemic. A lot of us are feeling fear intermittently. But some of us are feeling it a lot, or at inopportune times, like when you're trying to go to sleep. So, and we really need to take care of our sleep and our rest. So, oh, and I guess I should say I'm Vanessar Tarakali. I'm a somatic coach and a trauma coach. And what I want to do for the next few weeks on Saturdays is to just offer some really simple practices to help you nourish your immune system and keep kind of fear from overwhelming you or shutting you down. So, and I'm calling that befriend your fear. So the first thing we're going to do is called a silent scream. And I learned this in generative somatics from Stacey Haynes. And so thank you, Stacey. And this practice can be done by pretty much anybody. And I'm going to demonstrate it for you, which will be probably pretty amusing. So it's a silent scream, but what you want to do is you want to give your body the sense that you're really, really screaming. So you use your whole body, you involve your whole body. And you can use this for other things besides fear. You can use it for anger, rage. You can use it for grief, but we're going to focus on fear today. And I'm going to do a silent scream. I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and then I'm going to describe it again. So, okay. And if people want to participate in this, so that other people watching this will get an idea of what it looks like, you're totally welcome to do that. So I invite you to do that if you want. So I'm going to do a silent scream, and then I'm going to explain it. Okay. So I'm taking it. I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay, so that was a silent scream. It wasn't very silent at the very end, but it's what I'm doing is I'm taking a deep breath, and then I'm pretending to scream, but I'm not making any sound, but I'm letting my body expand and express, and I'm imagining the sound of my scream is filling the whole room that I'm in right now. So I'm just imagining it just filling up the space, because that gives your body a sense of a very big, expansive release. And we want some very big, expansive tools right now, because this pandemic is way, way too big for us to grasp or metabolize in normal, ordinary ways. So you take a deep breath in, and then you do kind of like I did. I'm sure it looked silly, but you don't have to, nobody has to see you if you're worried about that. And what I'd like you to do is, everybody, I'd like you to do a silent scream, unless, if your body is saying, no, this is actually scary to do this, then I'd like you to, I guess I'll do another one and you can watch me and just let your body watch me and notice that nothing bad happened to me. And everybody else, I'd like you to take a deep breath in And when you're ready, just silently scream, use your whole body, and fill the whole room or the whole building with your scream. Go ahead, do it now. Oh, yes. Somebody asked me the question, do you exhale? I totally exhale, yes. Yep. You exhale. You let it all go as you're filling up the space with sound. So it would be helpful if people could type in the chat if you've done one of them, and then we'll check in about it. When we do a new practice, we want to know if the body is saying yes, no, or maybe, and we want to know if the body feels safe or scared. So, okay, have you done it? So the person who's done it, okay. I'm going to wait till everybody said they've done at least one. And actually, I'd prefer you to do only one. And I'll explain that in a moment. Okay. And all right, most of you that are online right now have done it. So what you want to check and find out is let your body kind of look around you, use your sensations, and find out, did anything bad happen? Is everything safe? If there are plants or animals around you, do they all seem fine? Did anything bad happen? So that's the first thing you check when you do a new practice, especially when we're trying to work with fear or anxiety, because we don't want your body to be more afraid. We want some kind of sense of relief. And then, so if anybody did it and it didn't feel good, I would love it if you could write me in the chat. And for those of you that it felt good, just notice if you have a sense of release or relief or a little bit of unwinding. And again, we're trying to do something that matches the level of intensity of our fear or of the moment that we're facing. So somebody said it felt good. Anybody else? Felt unwinding, felt good. A release. Okay. Was it scary to anybody or you feel worse for anybody? Okay, good. All right. So what I'd like you to do then, I'd like you to do 2 more and take your time. I'd like you to do another silent scream. And this time, see if you can fill even more than the room, maybe your whole building or your whole block. So go ahead and do another silent scream. I'm going to do another one, 2, and you might also let it be a scream of fear that's expressed, so it could be high-pitched in your imagination. When I did it when I was a little more high-pitched in my imagination, I noticed almost a feeling of almost like a peaked hat or a cone that came up here. The fear was like doing that. So, and somebody said felt good-ish from that. Yeah, as long as it's not a no or not an uneasy maybe, then this is a practice that your body likes, or at least, yeah, it probably likes it unless you feel like meh. So not every practice is going to work for every person. So it's really good to respect your body's yes, no's, and maybes. And then it's when you repeat the practice, if it's a yes or a pretty okay maybe, then your body gets to really kind of deepen in the practice and really start to take advantage of it. It's if you feel like you're on the verge of crying and that's okay with you, then it's fine to do this. It's okay to cry. And you can cry a little and just notice, did anything bad happen when I cried? And let your body just to register that. So I'd like you to do a third one if you haven't already. And you can let this one fill the whole neighborhood or fill the whole planet if you want. Let it be big. Give it all the room it needs. I'm just leaning forward, reading the comments. And let me know when you're all done, as many as you want to do right now. Maybe not everybody wants to do 3. So when you're all done, as many, either 3 or as many as you want to do, then just write something in the comments so we can move forward together. Uh-huh. And people who are done, if you could write one word for your mood after having done this. Sad, deflated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I also have noticed as I keep working with my fear that today I felt very deflated after doing a lot of work with my fear, and I felt very sad. And it's a different space to be in, and it actually has more um, options. It has more options than terrified or frozen in fear. It's softer. It's more gentle. Um, and for some of us, it can be scary to feel deflated. Oh, that's okay. All right, I'm just reading comments. So thank you for very much for trying that. And if your body liked it, if there's unwinding happening, if there's softening happening, then you know that um, then you know your body likes this. So somebody said they weren't tuning into fear when they did the scream. That's fine. You can wait till you feel actual fear again and try it then and just let it rip. And what we're doing is we're coming to meet fear. We're coming to meet it with the same kind of intensity, as if we're saying, yes, I'm here with you. And that tends to really unwind the body. What we're looking for is unwinding that could look like yawning or sighing or getting really drowsy. Suddenly we can sleep, or suddenly we can slow down. All of these things are actually really good for your immune system. Fear is hard on your immune system. And I don't want you to get freaked out about being afraid. You can't help it. But if you can be with it and befriend it and move it so that it gets to become other things, it's going to help your immune system out a lot. Uh, I'm just going to have my little prey animal friend who's an expert on fear and what to do with fear, Z, say hi to you all for a moment. And Z gets frightened several times a day. She'll hear a startling noise and she'll be like, oh, and she'll get all small and skinny. And she'll flatten her feathers in fear, or she'll go hide somewhere. And then she'll be okay in a few seconds or minutes, because prey animals have totally got it down about what to do when you're afraid. So that was my friend Z. Thank you for showing us a prey animal. Prey animals are really smart about fear. And we have the capacity to get all freaked out and wound up and scared and unwind, just like birds and just like other recommend if you're reading the news, okay, we're having a little bit of a connection issue. So while we have a connection issue, I'm just going to wait for that to fix. Yeah, I am having a brief connection issue. It'll clear up soon. We're back. Okay, good. Okay. Really simple as well. So the things I'm sharing with you today, you can teach kids to do, okay? Completely fine. So I'd like you to, if you're sitting or standing, I'd like you to pick up your feet and run in place. Run in place. Let your feet, even if it feels robotic or contrived, just pick up your feet and quickly run in place. Pick up your feet, run, 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 run. And try doing it faster and slower and faster and slower. And what we want to do is we want to mobilize this energy in our legs, which knows what to do with fear. It actually takes it and it channels it into action. And that's one of the most traumatic things about trauma is when we cannot do anything with all of the sensations coming in and the experiences. It's really empowering to be able to do something. So let your feet run in place and then rest. If this is painful for you or hard on your body, then what you can do is you can run in place gently. You could do it softly but quickly. So kind of in the air maybe, or very gently but quickly, or you could do it slow-mo. You could do it with a lot of intensity, but slow-mo. So there's always ways to do things so that it doesn't harm your body. And okay. It's too bad none of you are showing me your video, because if you were, I could see when the signal cuts out. I could tell, but I can't tell this way because my appearance stays the same. But anyway, I'm sorry. Can somebody tell me the last thing you heard me say so that I can repeat that? Did we do running in place? Did you get?
Yeah, Vanessa, we did do running in place.
Great. Okay. And you heard it all, like all of that got heard, yeah?
No, I heard the part about get up and run in place, but not the preamble before that.
Okay. All right. So, and thank you so much. Another
Same.
practice. What's that?
That was the same for me.
Okay. So the preamble is fear wants to do something. It wants to take action. And one of the ways that trauma becomes particularly traumatic is when there's nothing we can do. So if you're in a scary situation, and we are, especially if a lot of us are cooped up inside a lot of the time, giving your feet and legs something to do to take action is going to really help address letting the fear do something and feeling a sense of agency, feeling like I can do something. So the preamble part of it is I'd like you to be aware that your feet and your legs in particular are places that are good to take action when you're afraid. They can run, they can kick, they can stomp, they can do a braced stance, they can spring. So your feet and your legs are just by activating them, just by moving them, they can help us feel like, oh, I'm doing something. And then that can help move through fear through our bodies and out of our bodies, so we get a little relief. So what I'd like you to do is sitting or standing is run in place. And remember, whenever I ask you to do a practice, you get to say yes, no, or maybe to it. And you can find out if your body's going, nah, I don't want to do this. Then you could modify it. If you're if you're sitting or standing and it doesn't feel good, you could try lying down and just moving your feet in the air forward. But get those feet activated as if you were running in place. And I think I was also saying if you have an ankle injury or something, you can do this very gently but fast. Like just see if you can just do it like a butterfly running in place, right? Or you could do it very slow-mo, but with great intensity, as if you're like pouring all this fear and energy into your feet as you slowly, intensely run in place. So either way, these things activate your feet and leg muscles and remind you that you have agency, that you can do things with fear. So I'd love to hear if this is a yes or a no or maybe for you. Couple of comments. It's a yes. Uh-huh. Anybody else want to write me a comment? Is anybody saying this is an absolute no? My body doesn't like this. I'm going to pretend somebody did say that to me. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Oh, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to turn my video back on.
Thank you. Okay. It's nice to see somebody. I know you're there, but it's nice to see somebody. Okay. Hello. If you had a no for this, or if you share this practice with somebody and they're like, I can't do this, then like, because sometimes our body is going, I'm so scared, I cannot move. So then you kind of want to kind of blend with that. So you could kind of reach down and pick up your foot, or go down where your foot is, go find your foot, and you can squeeze the bones of your foot and find all the bones you can in your foot and squeeze them. I'm going to do it with my hands. It's really simple. You just can find every bone you can in your foot and squeeze. And you squeeze as hard or as soft as you want. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to know, definitely I have bones in those feet. I squeeze them and they don't collapse like Jello or an amoeba. They don't get squashed. They stay sturdy. They stay three-dimensional. So when you're squeezing the bones in your feet, you're sending a sensory message to your fight or flight brain, your brainstem back here. That is the sensory message of steady, definite, structure, reliable. That's the sensory message when you squeeze your bones. And your feet, again in particular, and your legs are reminding your brainstem of the parts of your body that are good at taking action when you're afraid. So, and as you do this, as you squeeze your bones, you might notice if it's affecting your mood after a little while, or if the running in place was affecting your mood. Because when we're looking to see if a practice, a somatic practice or a body practice works for you to help you with fear, you wanna be looking for, oh, I feel good, or I feel more relaxed, or my mood is changing, you know? And each time you repeat one of these practices I'm sharing with you, and by the way, a repetition could be squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I squeezed my foot once. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I just squeezed my feet bones again. That's 2 practices. Each time you do a repetition of a practice, you're sending a sensory message over and over and over to your brainstem saying, wow, it's still reliable. It's still steady. It's still safe. And then what happens is little by little, your very activated fight or flight system starts to go, oh, we're kind of safe, we're kind of okay. It layers it in with repetition. That's how it gets really powerful. Anybody want to type or say anything about how they're feeling with either running in place or squeezing their feet bones?
Vanessa, I'm wondering if, I think I have difficulty knowing when I am feeling fear,
Uh-huh.
or it's like so normal now that this is how it is. So how do
Yeah.
you know that, okay, I should be doing this right now, or I should try it in this moment?
Oh, well, in my opinion, in my opinion, we are absolutely saturated in fear right now. Like, if you're not afraid, people around you are. If you're not afraid at the moment, somebody a few blocks from you or a few feet from you is. So I don't think you can overdose on doing these practices. If they feel pleasant, if you feel pleasant after doing them, or more neutral, or a little bit more relaxed or released, then you don't have to wait to kind of go, oh, I'm definitely afraid now. You can just do them. And you doing them, by the way, even if you're not feeling particularly afraid at the moment, will probably affect other people around you. And I know we're doing social distancing, but if you are on a video call or a phone call with somebody, their body can hear it in your voice if you're calming down from fear. And if you're walking 6 feet away from everybody, which is what we're supposed to do, 6 feet away, or having a conversation, your whole body is going to register to another person's animal body that you are less afraid. And that's going to have a mirroring effect for their body. So I really don't think you can overdose on this. Does that help?
It does.
Yeah. Chances are, I think fear is like grief. We get it in waves. Like sometimes you're feeling it a lot and sometimes you're not. But there's sort of a baseline terror that happens with an epidemic, I am finding. So you might not know you're afraid unless you wake up from a nightmare or you get heart palpitations. That might clue you in. So, but if you don't know, you can't harm anybody by doing the practices. Okay. Any other? I'm going to move on to an immune boosting practice, but I just wanted to know, thank you for starting off some questions. Anybody else have any questions you want to, or comments you want to type in or say aloud? Okay. So I'm going to move on to an immune boosting practice. And I learned it from Capacitar. Oh, and I'm trying to give credit for where I've learned things because I think that's really respectful, and it kind of gives a sense of connection to lineage. So running in place, I learned from uh, Peter Levine's work. He talks about that it can be really, you can complete something that you were attempting to do during a traumatic time when you run in place. And so the body gets a sense of release and satisfaction and safety. And then squeezing your feet or your lower leg bones or whatever, I made that up. So, because I started really paying attention to what our skeleton is for and what it can do. And yeah, so I have a whole squeezing your bones meditation on YouTube. If you want to check that out, you just have to look up Vanasar Tarakali, and it's a bit goofy. It was Peter Levine who I learned the running in place one from. Yeah. The video I have that does a whole skeleton squeezing your bones kind of meditation, it's a bit goofy because I made it years ago when my camera was broken. So I was using a different camera with another laptop. And so I'm looking in the wrong direction. And anyway, but it's still a pretty useful video. So you might want to check it out. And I'm talking in a pretty reassuring tone, and that can be nice when you're feeling freaked out. And that's something also I'm trying on this. I made sure before I got on this video call to really do my practices and relax, because I want to let my animal body be telling you with my tone of voice and all the other subtle cues that we pick up from each other that it's okay to unwind a little bit right now. It's safe to take a pause. So your voice can be so reassuring to somebody else when you've found a little bit of calm, and your gestures and just your gaze can be so reassuring to somebody else. So somebody just wrote, the fear you hold in a conscious will benefit even if you're not aware of it in the moment. Absolutely. Yeah. And we certainly don't need to try and dredge up any fear right now. Okay, so immune boost. So I learned this practice from Capacitar, and I'm just going to show you on my body. It has 3 different sets of hand positions. And so I'm going to show you on my body. I'm going to put my right hand just below me, about my belly button on my belly here. There we go. I'm going to put my left hand, if you go to where your stomach or your solar plexus is, just below where your rib cage starts in the middle, and then move to the left. Go under your rib cage on the left. Before this is below your rib cage. Then, so your right hand is below your belly button, your left hand is kind of around your spleen area. And so put your hands there, and then I'd like you to just invite your hands to be very present with these 2 places in your body. And if you like, I'll give an explanation about why this is good for your immune system in a little bit. But right now, I'd like you to try it on and experience it. And one of the things that you could do is imagine you could inhale or breathe in through your right hand and exhale or breathe out through your left hand. Breathe in through your right hand and breathe out through your left hand. Breathe in below your belly button and breathe out around where your spleen is here. And you can breathe in fast or slow, whatever pace works for you. Really what we're doing here is we're making a connection with part of the immune systems in our body, some kind of key places for our lymphatic system. This is how I was taught anyway. If any of you are medical people and you have some corrections for me, I welcome that. That's what I was taught. So breathing in and breathing out in those 2 hand positions. And you want to stay here until you feel sort of a sense of satisfaction or nourishment, or you feel a little more relaxed. You're kind of looking for a letting down feeling. And what I do this every morning, especially now when we need our immune systems to be in good shape. I do this every morning for 5 minutes in this first position. And I am going to record this so you could watch this again if you want, or if you like, I can send you some written instructions for this. But it's pretty simple. We're going to do the next 2 hand positions. It's pretty simple. You're kind of moving in a counterclockwise circular spiral around your torso with your hands. So we're going to move now to the second set of positions. So your left hand is going to move to the middle of your chest, around where your breastbone is and around where your thymus is. And your right hand is going to follow and go where your left hand was. So again, right in line with your stomach, but over to the left, just below where your rib cage starts. And then let's do this again. Breathe in through your right hand and breathe out through your left. Breathing in through your right hand, breathing out through your left. Breathing in around your spleen area, breathing out where your chest is, center of your chest. And if you want, if your mind is busy, you can count the breaths. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale through my right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale through my left hand. So if your mind gets really busy and it's hard to drop into a practice, you can give it more things to chew on. So you could count. It can be nice to do a fear practice first, so that by the time you do the immune practice, your body's more settled and ready. Breathing in through the right hand, around your spleen, breathing out through your chest. And again, you want to hang out here long enough to just feel, oh, that feels good, or that's nourishing, or that's soothing. And you can hang out here a long time. You're not really going to overdose on this either. You're not going to activate something in your body that's going to rev you up too much. It's just really settling. And everybody's body is different. So check to see if this is a yes or a no or a maybe for you. One of the ways you know a practice is a yes for you is you might be doing some unwinding, things like yawning or sighing or feeling, a little bit more loose, or your stomach might gurgle, or you might pass gas. There's basically our body does all these rude antisocial things when we're truly unwinding. And so fine thing to do when you're social distancing. And so let's go to the third position. You're going to move your left hand to where your right hand was at the beginning. Left hand goes below your belly button. And your right hand is moving from your spleen area to where your left hand just was in the center of your chest. So each of these places gets both hands, both left-handed energies and right-handed energies, or left side of your body, right side of your body. I don't know if it activates your left and right hemispheres of your brain. I just thought of that now. It could. But either way, you're getting a nice double dose of nourishment in these three key areas for your immune system. And if you think about it, we went from here to here to here to here. We're going in a counterclockwise circle or spiral. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, here we go again. And I'm actually, as you're doing this, if you got your hands in place with your right hand in the center of your chest where your breastbone is, and your left hand below your belly button, just watch me run through this again, just visually. So here, here, here. First position, second position, third position. And what I like to do is do this every morning for about 15 minutes at least, 5 minutes or so on each position. And although I actually just stay in each position until I feel like, oh, that was nice. And then I move to the next one. So, okay. Anything people are noticing? Yes, no, or maybes? What's your mood? How is your body feeling as you do this? For the last position, somebody asked, am I breathing in through the right hand and exhaling through the left? Yeah, for each of them you are, really. And you know what? It doesn't actually matter. Those of you who know energy work or do Reiki or anything like that, just sticking our hands on our body with attention, with purpose, and friendliness is going to be really powerful. So you could actually even, screw it up and not do clockwise, not do counterclockwise. You could do clockwise. You could breathe out through the other hand. It doesn't matter. It's okay. What you're really wanting to do is we're entraining our attention into the practice. And yeah, from some perspectives, it matters which thing you do. You breathe in and out through, but honestly, you're still gonna hit all the spots and give them a really kind of calm attention and give your immune system some love and some friendliness. So anybody else, any comments or questions about this immune practice? And you're welcome to comment or question in the chat box, or turn on your mic and ask me or tell me. I feel more space in my midsection torso. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? As I'm waiting to see if anybody else wants to comment, I'm just going to say when I do this, strangely enough, sometimes I fall back asleep again and have another little snooze, and it's a pretty deep, refreshing snooze. So we're in a time right now when if you're staying at home a lot, you could rest more, you could nap more. You can take advantage of that. The whole planet is slowing, the whole human part of the planet is slowing down right now, except for, of course, our doctors and nurses and medical people. But, and grocery people. Well, anyway, in general, a lot of us are slowing down. Okay. So, no other comments? Okay. Please again, notice if this is a yes or a no or maybe for you. You can do this at night. You can do it in the morning. You can do it when you're not feeling well. Did you want to say something? Just hi. Okay, great. How was the immune boost for you? Do you want to type something? Like a yes, no, maybe, or you're just doing a thumbs up? Great, perfect. It's a little dark, so I didn't see your thumb right at first, but wonderful. Okay. So again, you can teach your friends, your family, you can teach kids to do this. Kids might really like this. I think they would. I have not taught this to a kid yet, but I'm planning to now.
The audio is out. Okay, you're back. You're back.
I'm back. What I keep not having time to say is I'm going to turn off my video next time that happens, because that actually improves the signal when that happens. But I don't want to freak you all out by removing my visual without telling you why. Okay, we're going to end really soon. Any questions? This is time now for question and answer if you want, or comments, or is there any fear practices or immune practices you want to share with us?
I was wondering about the running in place. I'd like to teach it to my kids, and I'm wondering how to explain it to them, like in the moment.
Anybody who's watching this right now is bored when I ask that question and we have a pause. During the pause, you could be running in place or taking care of your immune system. Did you have something you want to say, or are you just letting me see you?
I had a question about the running in place and teaching it to kids.
Yeah.
What do you say to a child when they're scared, and how do you encourage them to run in place?
I would say, okay, you're scared, so let's let your feet run not scared. You know, feel it, and you show them. Start doing that. I'm doing it right now. Start running in place, and try it out. Let's see if that helps with the scared, and then stop, and then say, is it better or worse? Is it a little better? Is it worse? If it's worse, then it might be just getting worse for a moment, and it might be about to get better. So if it's worse, I would say to them, watch me do it for a sec, and you do it. And you could say, oh, the fear is all going into my feet and I'm running, you know? And then you could say, do you want to try it again? And yes, no, or maybe. So always check in and make sure. If it's making somebody feel worse, then skip it. So that's how I would do it. And I would keep on tuning in, like, so how do you feel now? How are your feet now? You know? And you could do what I said you could before. You could say to a kid, well, let's try it slow-mo now. Because here's another thing about this, and I'll be getting into this in other Saturday night.
You're frozen, Vanessa. I hear nothing.
What's that again?
Now you're live for me again.
Okay. All right. What was the last thing you heard?
Um,
Was it about the kid, or had I moved on to this is another thing about matching the intensity of something?
it was about the kid.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything about matching intensity.
Okay. So what I was saying is um, here's the thing about this practice that I'll get into more another time, but I'll just say quickly that when we're feeling a big emotion like fear, like anger, like terrible grief, anything like that, if we can do something that matches the frequency, the speed, the intensity of that in the body, then we can then go from that level of intensity, and then we can kind of start bringing it with us down. So running in place fast, if you're feeling really scared, you can start like that. And then I guess my hands are going to try and mimic what I would do with my feet. You can start out that fast, and then you can start to go, okay, now let's slow it down just a little bit. So a little slower. Fear, fear. And then slow it down even more, and then be going, you can start go, okay, let's go, fear. So what happens is what we can do is if you match the intensity of what's going on in your body with either moving your hands or making sounds or moving your feet or whatever it is, and then you can start to bring it down deliberately, then you're kind of honoring where your body really is, and it feels honored, it feels a little safer, and then it's willing to be guided somewhere else. So that's one of the principles behind why you would try slow-mo. We did it fast, now we're going to try it slow-mo, or you could try it medium and then get to slow-mo. And how was that for you as a suggestion for how to do this with kids?
That makes sense. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. And you can do that for yourself too. Um, anything else before we end? Any questions or comments? People can type stuff. And if you're watching this video later, you can question me over email. You can email me at vanessar@cs.com. You could go to my website, vanessarsomatics.com. That's VANISSAR somatics.com. And you'll see how to reach me through there. And I'm happy to answer questions about to make these practices fit you. So any other comments or questions? Okay, a couple people who aren't saying anything or commenting right now. I would love it if you're willing to say goodbye by writing in one word for your mood or saying it aloud. What's the mood of your body right now? And anything you're taking away, could be a word or a sentence, anything you're taking away from what we just did together in the last 50 minutes or so. Somebody's feeling nurtured. Somebody says, I very much appreciate this session today to bring me closer to my body, remembering it. Somebody else says, I wound up and wound down. It was awesome. I feel ready for sleep. Oh, yay. Thank you. And I actually just want to echo that. Sometimes we need to wind up more and then we can wind down. Sometimes that's what's going to work. Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay. So I will make this available if you want to send it to folks. And let's see. I didn't really do much of an introduction at the beginning because I just wanted to get right in it. But my name is Vanessar Tarakali. My website is vanessarsomatics.com. And I'd be really happy to answer questions or give you suggestions to help you get through this time that we're all intermittently having our courage and our immune systems challenged, several times a day, right? And for those of us on the front lines of healthcare, continuously for hours a day. Yeah. And my prayers are going out to everybody, and I'm in the same boat with you. I'm terrified several times a day, but there's also an awful lot of love and kindness happening. And so just look around you, and you'll find a lot of love and kindness happening. And if you can go outside for a walk, there's probably birds singing. That's all still happening. So I wish you well. I'll see you again. Those of you that want to join me next Saturday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And take good care. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
night.
you. Yay. Everybody rest. Rest, rest, rest. Yay. Okay.